Radio 2 to any of Quebec. 231 to copy, priority 1 shooting just occurred.
911 emergency.
It seems to be that there was a shooting here at Yonge and Crosby.
It came from behind us.
33 to standby. 63 clear.
There was never a shooting here before the hub was built.
We have shots fired.
I just never had anything like that to be my kid.
And here comes the police helicopter.
Suspect was last reported southbound on Highway.
When I come around the Crosby Avenue side of the grocery store and I see a guy lying there.
360 kids attracting violence and almost death to our community.
Shots have been fired.
And an entire neighborhood freaked out.
I wasn't expecting it to be a gun, but it's quite loud.
59.
Can you give me more info on that call?
So an individual associated with the 360 Kids program here in our backyard was shot.
Somebody was shot. People saw it. These people live there. They're afraid for the children.
Where a person doesn't need a crystal ball to know when things are going to happen. And then they happen. A whole year later, and residents in the neighborhood still get jumpy when they hear a pop or a bang thinking more shots have been fired. The video of the aftermath of the shooting has been viewed over 1,200 times. In this video, we're going to look at some of the details of the shooting that you may not have known about. We're going to show you some of the highlights of the community meeting that came 6 days later, and we're going to explore why a second lawsuit has been filed. Let's start with the date of the shooting, Friday, July 19th, 2019. The same day that the hub hosted a community barbecue attended by hundreds of people who had no idea what was going to happen later. A shooting. The story hit the news quickly and the community was abuzz with questions of why and who. They wanted answers to help satiate their fears. The police, meanwhile, were getting very little cooperation. But 4 days later, the police had a suspect in custody. Several news outlets ran the story the next day, because what made it so astonishing was that the suspect turned himself in. 20-year-old Yuki Abel Lamos of Richmond Hill was charged with attempted murder among other offenses. That same Wednesday, in a communique from Richmond Hill City Councillor for Ward 2, Tom Munch, he advised that his information was that the weapon involved was a .38, possibly something similar to what you see here. The next day, another email from Councillor Munch's office advised of a public community meeting to be held that Thursday night. The email states that especially because of the shooting that occurred less than a week earlier, the community should come together to voice their concerns over 360 Kids, acknowledging that residents are extremely aggravated and upset. The meeting took place on Thursday, July 25th, 2019, and for the first time ever, we're bringing you some of the highlights and lowlights of that meeting.
By coincidence, last Friday, we had a shooting incident. Some of you may be here because you thought that was a crescendo moment. It really was just a high note. I see people sitting outside or sitting on their balconies, and I hear and see them being harassed, bullied, attacked. Safety and concern and respect is where we are headed. And we, the people, are going to take it back.
It's the drop-in center that I think is the main focus and the main problem. It creates an area for crime, really. It creates an area for people who are involved in gangs, involved in drugs, involved in all these things.
I don't want to see one. I want action, and I want it now.
People are scared. We need a fence now, we need police now.
I've been living here for 26 years, and I've never seen the crap that's going on now that I've seen in the last 5 years.
We need security there.
They don't even care that the camera's there. They literally sit on the ledge, right beside our store. They bring it from the bottom, whatever. There's not needles there after.
And when it existed at Bernard and Young, the crime did not exist that exists now.
And they travel onto my property. It's a nuisance.
Yeah, so
Late night.
I totally hear you.
This is what I'm saying. If our area was safe and we can walk around and people can walk around, then we wouldn't need the police to walk around.
Is it going to take for a stray bullet to kill a child?
Let's try and make it an area where they don't have to be there every single day.
And there's drugs and there's needles and there's everything.
I think they have to relocate. You don't live where I live, and I'm being traumatized with what they're doing.
That's number one. Build the fence so people can go to the bank. We can't go to the bank because we're scared we're going to be robbed when we come out of the bank.
I think we have to relocate them and move them out of this place.
People are scared.
I understand. I'm scared for you.
And that's all this should be about. We shouldn't be about their political agenda. I didn't come here for that. I live every day with this stuff. Every day I hear this case at 2 and 3 in the morning.
You know what I'm going through. It's extremely
Right now, I'm Somebody was shot. People saw it. These people live there. They're afraid for their children. They cannot wait. We need something now, Tom. Not in 3 months.
Well, nothing's going to happen tomorrow.
Listen.
Raise respect to what we're supposed to see.
Go ahead.
Jason, why are you here today?
I'm not giving you a chance to see.
No, I'm asking a question. Why are you here today?
Okay, well, my name's Jason Cherniak. I'm the vice chair of the board of trade. There was a question earlier.
Did you hear that, board trade?
There was a question earlier whether business is interested. Yes, the business community is interested in this.
I just want you to know why you're here.
I'm here because I'm a resident in Richmond Hill. I was invited by Alicia's email that said we don't care if you live in the area. This is a wider community issue. We want people to come. So I've come, and I've been listening to what everyone is saying. So far, this meeting is exactly the same as the meeting last September. It's just a different chair. Last year's meeting, we said, let's have a meeting. Let's have York Region put everyone together in the room. That hasn't happened. I don't know why it hasn't happened.
Position as a board trade?
But it's
How's your
still...
position as board trade? You're saying this, so that's fine. That's fine. You're saying this is board trade. Well, as a board trade, as a representative board trade, I'm going to ask you this thing.
So I have to say I disagree. There's a representative from 360 Kids here. Let him speak. Let him say what he thinks of the proposals that are being made. We have the police here. Let them talk about what's been going on in the community, what they are doing to make the same for the residents. I've said what I have to say. Tom's threatened to kick me out of the meeting. I'm going to sit down because I don't want to be kicked out, but everyone here should know that that's who's chairing the meeting.
So we could talk all about what happened, engagement, this, that, and everything else. The reality is we need a solution.
So as the elected York Regional Representative for Richmond Hill, if you guys all feel the way you feel the way, what are you doing? You're the only one here. You put yourself in that position. What are you specifically going to do to facilitate? Because we have an agenda here, and now you came forward and said,
Listen to the people.
That's why I came here today. If something's happening on that property, as I've heard, drug use, alcohol, and other things, then it is a responsibility of the people that brought these people in. And it's 360 Kids, and I think it's their responsibility to make sure that while they're on that property, they follow the rules. And that's what I don't think is happening. Making sure that somebody accepts the responsibility on that site. And I think that's where we're failing the community, is that on that site, the rules aren't enforced and aren't strict enough, if they are there. I want to read those contracts between 360 Kids and the region of York. I want to know what the police have been doing, how many times they've been called there, what's been going on, what are the issues. This is a very simple solution to fix. Now I'm going to take that challenge to York Region, at the region of York, and we're going to fix this problem once and for all. You have my personal guarantee.
Yesterday was out there and recorded with the truck. Recorded when they were out at 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning. I discussed this with Tom. I said, this is real simple, Tom. The community is seeking, particularly the residents at Ground Zero, want a divorce. This was shotgun affair, shotgun wedding, and everyone wants a divorce, and you're not listening to them. So, it's okay. The phrase perfectly encapsulated the sentiments of both the community and the tone of the meeting. A divorce is a solution, but forcing someone to stay in a failed marriage for the sake of the kids is just abusive and cruel.
A year from now, when I have another meeting, we're going to be saying, did we improve on any of these areas? That's going to be the test. So a year from now, people can say, was there improvement or was there not an improvement? If there was no improvement, then we weren't successful.
Well, right now it is a year later, and we can safely say there's been no improvement, and as far as we know, no one has done a damn thing. And despite all the talk, the violence continues. In fact, exactly 3 months after this meeting, an attendee of 360 Kids jumped over the fence and assaulted 2 neighboring residents during an attempted robbery. He was on probation at the time and has since been arrested and charged again, but that is a story for another day and another video. But for now, let's go back to Councillor Pirelli for his one last piece of advice.
With the greatest of respect, I say this. A lawsuit that's going on. I think what's more important is that we forget really about this lawsuit and try to come up with a solution. And if somebody shows you a video, whether you speak about it here or whether you speak about it in the court, I say it's better to speak about it here so that we can try and resolve the situation. If we really want to get somewhere, we really need to start having a dialogue and accepting the realities. But we need to get the dialogue going.
Unfortunately, 360 Kids seems to wholeheartedly disagree with the wise words of our deputy mayor, because instead of starting a dialogue, 360 Kids started its own lawsuit.